Okay, so we are going to do a vector version of this marbling texture. One of the things that I like to do is do a little color palette here like this. Okay, and if you don't have stuff selected, you can shift click and then alt click and it'll push that color. So shift click and alt click. Here's a crumpled paper texture. I'm going to grab this, copy this image. Okay, make sure that you have the right to it and everything. And I'm going to come into Photoshop, and we could do it as a texture, and you can change your threshold as you do those captures to kind of layer it with different colors. And so I'm going to open up a new document. I'm going to paste, okay, come down here to my adjustment layer. I'm going to choose threshold. As I move this around, it's going to give you this type of thing, okay? And so I'm going to come in like this, okay? And then I'm gonna grab these. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna grab one that's right here. And by grab, I mean Command Option Shift E, and that's one. And then I'm gonna double click here, move it over, Command Option Shift E, and that's two. And then double click here, move this over, Command Option Shift E, that's three. Move this over, come over here, Command Option Shift E, that's four. That's probably good enough for now, okay? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this document so that my computer doesn't explode, because what I'm about to do is really mess this up. Oh, I kind of like some of these patterns. Let's save it to the cloud. Good. Okay, and close that. Okay, so let's go to a new document, okay, and I'm going to paste each of these over. Now, Command A, Command C, Command Tab, Command V. You could do all of this in Adobe Illustrator, but it's dumb. And if you don't need this to be vector, which you guys do need this to be vector, this is also dumb, right? You would do this in raster most of the time. But if you need it to be vector, which sometimes you will, we're going to go into Image Trace. We're going to click this button, okay? That's going to give us this. I'm going to go into Advanced. I'm going to turn Preview off, all the paths, all the corners, none of the noise, and ignore white. And then I'm going to click Expand, okay? Now, let's make this our green. Why did it not do it? Hold on. Let's go back. Yeah, ignore white. Let's go back one more. Okay, so this, and ignore white. And that should be what we want. Yep, everything's good there, so that's what we want. All right. Expand. Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know why that turned green. That was weird for a minute there. All right, so here's that one, okay? Go back here. Let's come back over, hide this one, grab this one, copy, tab, paste, trace, paths, corners, noise, ignore white, expand. And let's pick the next one over. Now I'm recognizing I'm doing this out of order, but let's put it behind there. Nope, that was fine. Okay, so come back over, grab the next one, and go copy, tab, paste, trace, and paths, no noise, ignore the color, expand, beam the next green, come over, bink, gunk, copy, tab, paste, trace, paths, corners, no noise, ignore the color, expand, and be darker than that. Okay, so that still looks like paper, right? And so now we would need to look at this and we would say, what is going to make this look like marble, right? And it's going to be softer edges and stretched out. And the cool thing is now that these are vector, there's no image resolution loss to do something like this. right? And then you can come in and we can go in and we can add a blur to it. And it starts to look marble, right? And so if I take this, and some of these might be a little bit too blurry, and so I'm going to say I'm going to back the blur off of some of this stuff. Again, Command H is going to hide, if you're not inside of a menu, Command H will hide that so you can kind of see the tightness of it. You want a little bit of blur, okay? And so now we're kind of cooking with fire. And so I would come in here, and if I'm trying to go fast, right, then what I would do is I would go in here like this, and I'd go in here like this. Let's just shrink this down, okay? And I'm going to go copy, paste in front, and then I'm just going to grab that so I can mirror it. And now we have kind of like a mirrored marble situation, okay? And I can go copy, paste in front. My computer's going, why do you hate me so much? Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to go, let's make this the face of a watch. And so we'll come in here like this, and we'll throw that to the back, and we'll copy, paste in front, throw that to the top. Let's grab everything in Command 7. And then we've got a pretty decent situation there. And if I want to further kind of push this, then I could grab all these, right? Let's do everything except this. So I'm going to get this out of this clip group. I'm just showing you options at this point. And I'm going to keep my ellipse here so that we get an idea of the boundaries of what we're working on. Let's just make that a little bit bigger. Okay. And we'll lock that. Okay. And let's come back and let's lock this too. Okay. So everything else is all of our different stuff. And let's look at some of these effects. Okay, we can go distort and transform. There's lots of different things that you can do there. Those are interesting. But I would like to look at, to give myself a little bit more marbling. Marble, you have to think of what it was. It's created because a bunch of like pressure kind of was building and kind of doing that stuff. And so it's a very pressurized and stretching situation. And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to go to Envelope, Distort, Make with Warp. And because I have too much kind of mirroring going on here, I'm going to do something that is going to do a little bit more twisting or something. So let's try the flag, and I can come in and adjust how much or how little this kind of bends and warps. And that's good. And then I'm just going to kind of push this to get a little bit less kind of perspective. I don't like the idea of that perspective situation in there. Okay, click OK, and then something broke, right? And so I'm going to go in here and let's go expand. And I'm going to turn Command H back on. And something gained some sort of it like all has strokes now. So I'd have to go in, let's take a look and see. It's not. Yeah, somehow it kind of broke our little thing. So we'd have to go in and kind of troubleshoot of like what is happening to make these all have like a strokey outline. And they should all be the same color. Interesting. It's not. Let's see what's selected here. Okay, so that's selected. And give me, I should be able to change the color. So we might have just broken it a little bit too much. And this is where what I should have done is I should have gone in and made a copy before I did an envelope distort. So let's do that. And let's see if we can take this, copy this over. And I wonder if we can grab one of these at a time instead of each one of them. Yeah, so let's try this. Okay, so we've got this. You know what? It's the blur. So let's grab all of these and we'll take the blur off. Looks like we get to do that one at a time. And lock. And lock. And lock. And lock. Okay. I bet that's what it is. So let's experiment a little bit here. And unlock. And let's go object, envelope distort, make with warp. And sure. Yep. And then after the fact, we can grab this and we can say object expand, expand appearance, grab this and ungroup it, grab this and add a blur to it. Yep, that'll work. So same thing, just do the blur after. And then that'll give you kind of this type of thing. And we can still come in here, hit E, do a free transform, and you can kind of bend this stuff around a little bit more, right? You'd want to make sure that you do, the selection all at once like this, and then hit E, and you can kind of pull and bend and warp and kind of do whatever. Not rotate, pull out. Ah, there we go, that button. Okay, and then I can take the whole thing, copy it around. And since I am, since I'm going in and I'm blurring this, I don't worry too much about those sharp edges that are going to be in there, because I can kind of just come in here and grab all of them. Do whatever, and then when we're ready to blur, we blur. Okay, and then if I put that on dark green in the back, then we're pretty close. There's a bit of a kind of a glowing effect, and so I'd probably come in and knock that back a bit with multiplier overlay. And that's looking a little bit better. And so you could play with some blending and stuff to kind of get there as well. Multiply is going to be way too dark, yeah. And so you could try soft light a little bit. And that's not too bad. And then we'll grab, let's lock this, grab this guy, copy, paste in front, bring all the way to the top, unlock, grab, Command 7, and you're kind of looking there. So I would still come in after I get this generally, right? And I'd still come in and start kind of drawing in like, this area needs to be a little bit more, this area needs to be a little bit less. I don't want to darken here and lighten here. But generally, we now have a vector, somewhat marble looking kind of situation. It's not as deep as I would like. I'd like a lot more colors in there, so I'd probably go in individually and kind of color some stuff. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
Oh, so to relate it to the other method that we went over?
Yeah.
This is for those little small details, but still go over for the major color blocks.
Yeah. So this could give you like a general idea, okay? But then I might come in with my pencil tool and say there's kind of like a major shape in here that kind of goes like this, right? And I'm going to make that, and then you can come in and you can choose whatever color this is and kind of blend it. If it's still selected, it'll blend. And then come in and give that a Gaussian blur, and so you can kind of increase or decrease areas of this, based on kind of what you're doing, and so there's a combination of kind of both things that you could do. I keep forgetting to hit that button. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just like anything else, right, any objects that are outside of your clipping path, you can select them, go into your layers panel, drag them into your clip group, and they get clipped. Right, and then inside of your clip group, we got a clip group here, okay? Inside of that, I can say, I want to make this look like the face of a watch, and so, we're going to have a shadow, and so I'm just going to come in. I can grab this ellipse and make a copy of it, put that on top of everything, and I'm going to go in and give this radial gradient with that color, and have that go from 100 to 0. And make that radial. Why aren't we seeing anything? I thought so. I guess I don't. There we go. Okay, so then we'll kind of bring this all the way to the edge. That is weird. What is happening? I killed it again. Oh, I put it on every object. I just applied the gradient to every single object. Be careful what you select. There we go. Okay, just that one. Just that one. Ah, much better. Pull that to the edges. Let's darken this up. And let's make sure it's blended. And then we can kind of pull it outside of the mask here like this. And drop it down. Okay, and then we can do our like little glass, right? So kind of have some of this like that. And this one, let's do like a radial gradient or a linear gradient. And let's make it white to white. And let's spread that out a bit like this. Okay, and then we'll come in and we will blend it, drop the opacity down, cut it. So we'll come in, come across like this, grab that guy, Shift M, cut. Okay, and then let's grab this edge, and I'm going to go copy, paste in front, Shift X, and let's increase our. Okay, and then let's taper that off. That gives us a little edge there. That's kind of nice. And then just for fun, let's make this look like we're next to like a window. So I'm going to go into my transparency, and I'm going to go make mask. I'm going to turn clip off, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go, and let's make that black. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, and let's shift this down a little bit like this. And we'll come over, and we'll come over, and then let's grab all three of those shapes. And we'll go copy, paste in front. And we'll rotate them, and then we'll grab all 6 shapes. And let's go object, envelope, distort, make with warp. And let's do a little bit of a bulge with 0 and 0. Let's do a little bit of an arch the opposite way. There we go, that'll work. Okay, and kind of go like that. Let's give it a touch of a blur. Good. And then let's get out of this, and let's lower the opacity of the whole thing. Reflection. And then we can come in and we can grab this side, and we'll kind of pull this over like that. And nothing happened. What was that? I want this one. There we go. Cool. Okay.